Hey guys, it's Kay, aka the Purple Teapot, and let's talk about the promo for Season 4, Episode 18 of New Amsterdam. No ifs and or buts. Before I do, I'd like to welcome you all to the channel. We recently hit 2,000 subscribers, which I'm so happy about. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who subscribed and watched my videos, because I wouldn't be here without you guys. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you did. Anyways, let's get into this trailer. First of all, I'd just like to start off by saying I'm taking away the rights of whoever wrote the previous episode, because Helen had one of the worst reactions to the drugs, and instead of a resolution like everybody else, Helen can't speak now. And yes, Freema is about to serve an Emmy-winning performance, but I'm still not ready. Like, I get where you're going. I'm still gonna complain that we're going there, even though I'll be happy for the results, you know? There's not much I can say about the trailer, if I'm honest. The synopsis says that Max is gonna get Fuentes terminated. I saw somebody say, why didn't Max get rid of her after the ambulance crashes? And honestly, that is a very good question, cause now he's got bigger fish to fry. He's got a wedding to plan with Helen and Luna to look after. Well, he's always had Luna to look after, but you know what I mean. Like, yes, he needs to get his job back at New Amsterdam. He could have had that woman fired ages ago. I'm so confused as to why he didn't, and that's all on the writers. And maybe if we got a storyline that we actually liked, because this storyline with Fuentes, I don't know one person who's enjoying it other than the showrunners. And sorry if your customers don't like your product, something's wrong. Like, maybe Max could have had a storyline outside of Sharpwin that we enjoyed if it wasn't for Fuentes as well. Anyways, tell me what you think about this trailer, because I didn't have like a ton to say about it. So let's get into it about this episode. Lauren was meh. Like, we knew Lauren was gonna give her the money. Yeah. That relationship, like, what was the point at this point? I'm gonna be saying what is the point a lot in this review, because yeah, all I want to know is, how exactly did Casey get stabbed? This episode still had me asking questions. How did Mia end up on the ground with little physical injuries? Like, wouldn't she have like broken a bone, broken her back, broken her neck from a fall that height? Why do I feel like she strolled down there and just passed out? I need like answers to my questions. Also, what happened to Wilder's date? Like, she let him in, but how come he didn't come to the door? Like, and when he came in and she wasn't answering the door, why didn't he call the police or the ambulance? And then Floyd, you're a dickhead, for real. Instead of trying to co-parent, visiting your child in Colorado every few months, like in the future, you decide to just give up altogether and risk giving your child trauma when you have the option to not give your child your daddy issues. You choose not to. Like, that is wild to me. It really is. My only two gripes with Sharpwin this episode is Helen threatening us with putting her child in Luna's clothes. Like, can we have like a flashback to like Luna's old clothes and like realize that's not a good idea? When the writers wrote "It pays for itself," it must have been after they had heard how much this show costs to run, because I guess they've got old clothes that they could go put on another baby. But no, absolutely not. I also saw, I can't remember who said it, but someone says that Helen probably brought most of Luna's clothes when she was young. After this season and Helen's clothing choices, I have no clue. We just want Birkin bag Helen back. That is literally just it. Also, my other gripe is Helen being the one to diagnose herself and Max doing the scan. Like, where's the staff in this hospital? Did Fuentes fire them all? Like, it seems like Walsh, who isn't he still like a resident? Like, he's like a head resident. It seemed like he was running the ED and Lauren's upstairs. Like, this makes no sense to me whatsoever. This show is wild, I gotta say. Like, the shortcuts that I've witnessed this season is madness. One thing I am going to be happy about is the fact that Sharpwin are finally engaged. Like, it only took 4 seasons for them to get engaged. Like, I know he was married and had to grieve Georgia. Hashtag surrogacy. Yeah, but it took 4 seasons and I'm irritated it took so long. That man was in love from the moment he met her. He was like, damn. That was the expression that was on his face when he met her, and he was just struck by her. And now they're engaged, finally. If we're gonna have a hospital engagement, please just don't give me a hospital wedding, please. I know it's what we're gonna get, but please, I'm begging you. please don't do it. I love the whole conversation they had about having kids, even though I wish it was under better circumstances. Baby Sharpwin coming. I don't know, because the timeline with these pregnancies, every single pregnancy on this show makes no sense, especially that Teapot. Even though it sounds like Lynn's having a Teapot pregnancy also. The timeline is so messed up. I should really just act like there's no timeline, but I have to act like there's one. And then I just like to reiterate something I said on Twitter a few days ago. That man was unemployed for 18 months and thought that his attempt to unalive a bunch of doctors, because this virus that's been going around for how many years, like 2-3 years, yeah, was a code for him. It wasn't a code for many people. So selfish. Like, I should have known something was up after that whole thing with Casey and his verification card, and how he was like, nah, you're fine. And then Casey mentioned that he was a healthcare worker, and then that man decided, let me drug everybody. Also, where did he get these drugs? To rewatch the episode to see who was drinking, because I thought Iggy was taking shots as well. Maybe that's why there was such an emphasis on him and that disgusting champagne, as Gladys said. Also, wasn't Gladys taking shots? She looked like somebody who takes shots. And after watching this episode, I realised that only Helen and Wilder should have been drugged. In a logical writing sense, this episode would have been so much better if it was only Helen and Wilder who got drugged. Only because it just seems so chaotic having to cut to so many different storylines. Yeah, it was a little too much. Martin's husband's storyline made my whole dislike for Martin's husband stronger, purely because what was the reason for this storyline? It's not going anywhere. Martin's gonna either leave him or stay with him, and that's not going to help that character's development. Well, nothing's going to help that character's development, because that character's quite frankly awful at his job. The personality of that character is awful, and ... etc, etc. Like, the ships this season, minus Sharpwin, cause Sharpwin for life, have been nothing short of a mess. Loren, what was the point? Like, if Loren wasn't going to end up together this season, what was the point? Really, what was the point of them wasting my time? And then Flynn, if Lynn was just gonna go off to Colorado, what was the point of that relationship? Like, these relationships do not help these characters' development, yet they're still around, and I'm meant to be fine with it. Max and Helen being the only stable relationship, I love that for them. But I'm not forgetting the fact that there's been a lot of skipping over storylines for whatever reason. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts. We're doing an afternoon tea with the DamFam on Sunday. The times are on the screen right now, and you can listen to previous episodes of the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can listen live on Sunday at these times on stereo, and you can also join us if you want. All the links to everything come in my description. Thanks for watching. That man really tried to gaslight Martin into thinking that he wasn't cheating. Unlike Georgia, Martin isn't going to turn a blind eye, and as he should. But Georgia was in her own little world though, for real. That relationship she had with her husband was absolutely terrible, but she was in her own little world, so she didn't care.